And I didn't realize that. But anyway, it is present in 2 parts now. Okay, it will be lesson 6 or whatever in part 1 and 2. Okay, so let's go to now. So add is working. Okay, so the whole concept here in one small method, we've learned quite a few things. And please keep in mind, whatever I'm doing in class is a part of your quiz. And whatever is in the chapter in the book or the PowerPoint, whatever you have, is also in the course. So necessarily in the book, you won't find this new methods, but I've done it in class. So it is a part of your quiz. Keep that in mind, because I know it's, and I'll try to make it simple in the sense that you don't have to think a lot, but of course you should know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's remove the flavor now. So same concept, this is going to remove a flavor. Of course, an existing flavor, you can't remove a flavor that does not exist. And now something that needs extra work here is this. Now, if I had the option, I could do it, but I don't have it because I need it for add. I could have made this combo box read only. That means the user was not able to enter anything in my text box, but I need it for add. So I have to have it. Now in delete, though it's always easy this way, delete is easiest how? That you select something, and that's how usually delete should work. But as I said, not much I can do about it. You should be selecting something from here. You should go here and say remove, and it should remove it, right? That's the best way to do it. Then you're not making any spelling mistakes, you're doing nothing. But unfortunately, just because I do not only have a drop down list, I have this text box open, the user can do something like this and then go delete. And of course, in this case, it should say that it is not present. So I have some extra work to do here. Because you'll say, why don't you just change the drop down style? I can do it because I need it for add. Now you can say, oh, maybe when the user hits remove, then change it into a drop down. But then the user has to first do remove, then I change this. But I can't control the user. The user may do a remove anytime. You know what I mean? Like I can say to remove a coffee flavor, first select remove, then I change the list to a drop down. It's just a property. I can change it, and then you can remove. I can force the user. So since I'm the programmer, I'll have to take care of everything. The user enters something in the text box, find it. If yes, whatever. The user selects something from the list. Of course, if selection is there, then it's easy. Then all I do is remove. Okay, so it's my job now because there is nothing else I can do. In case you've forgotten it, because I haven't seen it in maybe more than 2 assignments, to change the drop-down style of a combo box, the property is called drop-down style. Right now it's drop-down. You change it to drop-down list and changes. See, it only becomes a choose-only box. There. That's the difference. That's what I had asked in the exam. I said the user should only be able to choose an operation. But I've still kind of given marks, at least if you've taken care that some, like an operation that is not, like only one of those is possible. Anyway, whatever it is now. But that's how you do it. Okay, so let's write the remove one. Okay, so there are 2 jobs. The first job is, did user give something in the text box? That's one. Or the user selected something from the drop down list. So I'll have to take care of both, because I can't do it. I mean, if I can't force the user to say, oh, you do this first. Okay, so I'll take an item found again. I'll take a position again. Same concept like in add, because the concept is the same. Okay, so now let's take the 2 cases. User types in a flavor in the text box. Right? So there are 2 options. Now, how will I see if the user has typed in something? I'll put an if statement. So take your coffee combo box, take its selected index. If the selected index is equal to -1, that means no selection has been made from the combo box, right? We did this in your first example. This is the easiest to check. No selection made means selected index is equal to -1. And the short circuit end, because you only check the second condition if the first is true. Take your coffee box, text box, take its text property, trim it, just in case the user is just putting all blanks. And if it is not equal to string.empty. So this way I'm kind of ensuring that you have given me something in the text box. That's how I check. Am I missing one? Is the bracket missing? No. Why doesn't it like it? Okay, nothing. It just had a red squiggly and I thought it was missing a bracket. There. So what does this say? User has typed in a flavor to remove. How do you check that it's in the text box? You check nothing was selected. Right? So nothing was selected and the coffee text box is not empty. That means the user has given something to do. Else, we'll just write the else here so that we have it complete. Oh, come on. Oof. There. Right? So that means the user has done a selection. Okay, so now here. So again, you will do the same thing. You'll find out if it is present. So call the same method, right? Do the same check flavor method. Oops. So notice even a user defined method is showing you that it is returning a Boolean. It is called check flavor, needs a string from you and is returning a position to you. And the description and the documentation that you wrote is coming here. This method searches for a text in the list. That's looking odd. In the list is looking odd, but anyway, and the string to be searched. So here also I'll change it. This method searches for a string, and I'll put /flavor in the coffee list. I'll make it better, right? Because it's something that I wrote. So let's write the string to be searched for, let's say, string, and that string is a flavor in the coffee list. Because list, I mean, I just want to say it in English. You know what I mean? I'm not meaning the list like a list in language programming. I just need a coffee list. And here also I'll change it to flavor. Will make more sense. Okay. So whatever I write here, when you try to use that method, it will help you here. It will tell you what the method does. So that way it's neat. It's like picking a definition. Okay. So what do you want to search for? Okay. So now the same thing. This is what you want to search for. So don't forget your trim, which we forgot last time. Right? This is the flavor I want to search. And the reserved word out says that position is a reference parameter. Right? Out says position is a reference parameter. And out and ref are same with a small difference. One needs to be initialized before passing it. I haven't initialized position. So it has garbage in it. So out will allow it. If you wanted to use ref, then you had to give position a value. That's the difference. They're both reference parameters. Okay. So now if the flavor was, you can write whatever you want first. So if the flavor was found. So what will be item found if the flavor was found? That means you were able to find it, right? So item found is true. Write whatever you want first. If you want to do the not, just don't write not equal to, write the not symbol, please. Okay, so don't say item found is equal to false. Please start using the short forms. Okay, item was not found means you couldn't find it, so you cannot delete it, right? So you cannot delete it. So we'll change this just to show you the not symbol. So of course you cannot delete it. So we'll put a message box here. And the message box will say what? I couldn't find the flavor to delete or whatever. Okay, so complete your message. And we said add failed, we'll do remove failed here. Again, just keeping it the same is another thing of kind of making the user, the user gets used to the same kind of messages. It's just a technique, like this is error. So let's go with error. Right, and it would be better to take the focus back. You can remove the text box. You can remove the whole thing if you want, because it's a flavor that couldn't be found. But if you want to leave it alone so that the user says, oh, this is the flavor I couldn't find, we can leave it. You don't have to remove it. Focus automatically does a select all in combo box. So I don't do a select all in combo box, it does it. So I couldn't find the flavor. Now, Devang was asking me, what are you going to do with position? You've not even used it in add. Why did you have that parameter? I didn't use it in add because I didn't need it. Now I need it. So if I find it, I have to remove it from that position, right? So now I need it. So take your coffee combo box, take its items collection, and use the remove method. See, there are two of them. There is a remove which says I need an object. So for example, I have to give its name. I can say remove Anju or remove Vanilla Heart, whatever the name. I have to give the name. It's an object. Or I can do a remove at. I'll write both for you. They both should work. Okay. Okay. So you can do a remove at. And here, my position will come handy. Here is where I use the position. So the element from that particular position has been removed. And then you can put a message on the screen for the user that it has been removed. Or if you like, I could do the same thing. I can say items. I can say remove. I've trimmed it when I searched it. Now, if I do a remove and I trimmed this and I trimmed this and I searched it. You know what? I think remove at is better because remove, again, the trimming will cause me problems. Suppose in the list it said vanilla nut and there were 2 blanks after it. And I gave it as vanilla nut without a blank. So when the searching was done, it found it. It was fine because I removed the extra blanks. But now when I have to remove it, again, I have to take care that it should exactly match with the trims also. Remove at is much easier. Why do more work? Right? Remove at is much easier. Okay, and now what? Give a message to the user if you like. You don't have to. But again, it's always like you get your message when you delete something. Oh, this is not the heading. This is just a sentence. Okay, so the flavor has been removed. You're just telling the user that it has removed. Remove is successful. Then you can use your normal buttons. And then you can use your normal, this is just an information. It's not an error, you're giving a message. There it is. So just saying that, yes, I have removed it. So remove at is simpler. Working with numbers is much easier. Selected index is 0, -1, 1, 2, and so on. It's much easier than working with the selected item, the item of it. So it's just easier. And then now, since you've removed it, you can go your coffee combo box dot text empty. You can always do it this way. I like to do it the other way, but you can always do it this way. Like if, I don't know, I just don't like, I like the string dot empty, but there's nothing wrong in doing it this way. Just a habit. So now I've deleted it. So if it was removed, why does the user need to see what did I remove? But if he gave something and it cannot be removed, then the message comes, no, I can't find that coffee. And he says, well, what did I do wrong? Did I misspell it or something? Okay, so I removed it in this case. There, it's been removed now. Here is where position is coming handy. You could do a remove also, but I'm again thinking that remove will take me, I'll have to code more because I'll again have to take care. It's not only the case and everything. I mean, it's much better to do it this way. Easy. Okay, now, suppose the user selected it. So the text box is empty and the user selected it. That means now again, there is an option. So if your coffee combo box, selected index, there it is. Sorry, selected index is equal to -1. So no selection was made, text box was empty, you gave a message, right? Okay. But if I come here, does it mean that both conditions are false? Let me think for a minute. Oh, this one is no. Okay. Oh, I still have. So this could be true. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Now there are 2 more cases. So this is the wrong one. This message is wrong. Okay. I still have to see was a selection made or not. Okay. So the first one, this here is, it should say no selection made. So this one is only doing when it is not empty and you didn't select. So I'm right. It was just at the wrong place. Okay. So again, a message box, please make a selection. Please make a selection. I'm thinking as I'm writing it, do I need to do the things? I'll think afterwards now, right? It's whatever came to my mind, I'm kind of doing it. But if there is anything redundant, if I don't need to check something, I'll remove it. What should I say here? This is exclamation, not an error, more of an exclamation or and coffee combo box. Okay, there. And if a selection was made, then it's easy. That's the easiest, right? Okay. So take your coffee combo box, take your remove at, oh, forget my items. That's why it's not coming. Take the items, take the remove at, and whatever is the position of your selected item index, easiest to do. And that's what you should have done in the exam also, based on selected index. We've done selected index before. What did I do now? Something to do. Oh, yeah, I don't know how it got here. I have no idea. There. So remove it. Right? Now the selection is made from the list. So there is another way of doing it. Now I can show you another way. Just so that you know. Take your coffee. Take your items. Use the remove method if you want. Of course, you won't do both of them, please. There, that's another way of doing it. So I've shown you remove here. This was easy because you've selected something from the list. I don't have to worry about trim and anything, like nothing at all. You selected it, you can use either of the statements. So you can delete it via the position, which is selected index. You can delete it via the selected item because that's the item you chose. Like you don't have to do anything at all, whether they're blanks or no blanks, nothing, no checking, nothing. So this is another way of doing it. So selected index is an integer, selected item is an object. Right? And both of them will work. And of course, you won't write both, but both of them will work. Whatever you like, you'll see the easy one. The first one is the easy. Just so that you know, though I would never recommend it, you can also do it this way. Take your coffee combo box, just showing you different ways. Take your items, and you can use it like an array if you like. It's an array. It is still an, like collection is still an array. So now inside the parameters, see what I'll say. I'll say take my coffee combo box, take its items, add the position. You can use it like an array. This will also do your job. I've used it like an array. So again, so this is the easiest. The first one is the easiest. You're working with selected index. The second one is not too bad too because you've still selected an item. So it's called selected item. You don't have to do any checking. The third one is using the items like an array. So array needs an index value. Remember how an array needs an index value in square brackets. So I've put it in square brackets and I've used, again, selected index is my index. So why would you do more work? Either first or second are easy. I've written all three for you just so that you know. Choose whatever you like. I'll stick with the one that's the easiest. And we'll do the same message box that it was removed successfully. There. So there are kind of two cases, major two cases. One, you've given something in the text box and not selected anything. So that's my first one. And in the second one, I've split it up. Did you select something from the text box or you didn't select? So basically you're sitting doing nothing. So you're basically saying I'm not selecting and I'm not giving anything in the text box. So why did you do a remove then? Okay, so all three cases have been kind of taken care of. That's remove. That's where I needed the position, right? So I don't need it in add, but I don't want to write two methods. One with position, with one without position. Like what's the big deal? Just a parameter, right? Add doesn't use it, that's fine. So that's okay. If you wanted, you could use it. You could say duplicate flavor exists, add in the list, add this position. So that's odd to say, but you could. if you wanted to. So because I needed position in this method, I used it. Okay, that's delete. The count and the other one are not so tough at all. I mean, that's an easy one. So maybe I'll do something that's more tough first. So clear all is just going to clear it. You can always ask, do you want to clear? And then count is just counting it. Okay, it's not a big deal. I'll do something that's more tough, just so that anything else that I can do which is more tough, then I'll write in print. Oh, okay, now the printings. Okay, now for the printing, what I've done is I've already given you, there was a text file also. Did you find it in the zip, or was it sitting separately? See, what did I do? Or is it in this? Have I already given it to you? No, I've given you. No, there it is. Oh, here it is, guys. It is here. It's already in the code. Okay, now let me tell you what I've given you in the code. But I have something extra. Give me 1 minute, guys. I just want to leave. Don't want to leave anything which is more important than the printing. I've done remove with you. I've done count, and that I'll do. It's not a big deal. Check flavor I've done with you. Okay, I can do that. I think I have time. Okay, now before I leave the combo box, because combo box is so important, just so that you know, there is no difference between how combo box and a list box operate. It's just how they look. Okay, how they look. I could make this combo box look like a list too if you want, though it is not so, it's not so pretty to look at. And again, the thing to be changed is the drop down style. And I can make it look like a simple. Like it looks very silly, but here it is. So I would never select it, but this is how it looks. It's kind of odd, right? So to come down, you'll have to kind of just use your arrow keys. So, but that's another style of your combo box, which we usually don't use, right? But there it is present. So you could, if you like, make it look like a list, but it is different from a list. Now this is just a list box, and you will notice it behaves exactly like a combo box. So to name it, we start with LST. Notice how I have LST. It will have an items collection, like a collection in a combo box. It has a variable called selected index, if I'm not mistaken. It has a sorted property. I think it has also a property called selected index. I'm almost positive. It's very similar to combo box. It just looks different. It looks like a list instead like a combo box. So I haven't done a lot on it, but it will behave exactly the same way that this one is behaving. But also, I would like to bring to you notice something very important, or maybe just because you haven't thought of it. There is an event handler called select index changed with the combo box. Now see, there is no calculate or any other button on my interface at all. Now, if you wanted the user, anytime the user makes a selection from the list, from your combo box, and you want to do something, like he selects something. So what has changed? The selected index has changed. Does something. What has changed? The selected index has changed. So if you wanted to do something when the selected index is changed, the user chooses something from the list. You don't have a calculate button. For example, in your exam that you did, you had a calculate button. After you chose addition, whatever, you said calculate. But you don't need the calculate button. As soon as the user chooses something from the list, you want to do something, instead of putting it in the calculate button, you could have put the whole code inside which event handler? Select index changed event handler. So this is a very common event handler of a combo box, select index change. It happens anytime you change or you choose anything from here, right? And how do you write it? Like with the combo box, if I double click on the combo box, that's the one that gets generated, right? So if you would like to do something in it, like I don't have much to do because I have the add or whatever option, but this would have been handy in your exam if you knew about it. And nobody did it till now, what I marked, but that's okay because maybe you didn't think about it. But what I'm trying to bring to you is that there are many event handlers with every control. And I've not used all of them. I've basically button clicks, which was their defaults, text, again, like I've just used the common ones. But that doesn't mean you can't use any other. Look at the event list. There's a long list with text also, with a text box also. Do I have a text box here? No. With a text box also you have something like text changed. So anytime you start entering something in the text box, that event handler is called. With every key that you press, it is called. So again, whatever you want to code. So sometimes you won't have buttons at all. Anytime the user chooses something from a combo box and you want something to happen, you can put it in the select index change. Can I put something here that will work automatically? I don't know. I can't think of anything, but I don't know. This one is not very handy, but I just wanted to bring it to your notice. Now, of course, it has written it for me because I double clicked on it. But let's do something like this, just for the heck of it. And if you don't know about it, console write line just writes on the console, okay? Just to show it to you. You needn't do it if you don't want to. I'll just say hello. Right? And I'll show you how it works. Okay. So what will happen is anytime I choose something from the combo box, you will see that on my output window, console means on my output window, hello will come. Okay. You'll see how do we see that? It's not a big deal. I'll show you how. You can always open your output window. If you don't have it, there it is. I have my output window open. If you don't have it, just go to view and say, I want to see my output window. Okay. See what's happening. Look at the output window. I have espresso roast says hello. Select index has changed, says hello, right? I change it again. It will again say hello. So that's what happens anytime the selected index is changed. So it's a handy event handler. And it is a default of the combo box. This is another way of debugging. With your programs, sometimes when I'm unable to find out what you're trying to do, I'll do console write lines in between to see where you are. That's one way of debugging. Of course, the other way is you can debug from putting breakpoints, right? But sometimes I just want to see what's happening. You also have an auto and a locals window here for debugging. If you bring your mouse over some variable, it will tell you what is the value of the variable when the program is running. So these are all debugging tools. But this was just to show you that, oh, what can I do? What can I do with this select index change to prove to you that it happens every time you make a selection from your combo box. And look at its name, selected index changed. So I've done something from the combo box. Okay, just wanted to bring to your notice. Okay, let's come back here before I run out of time. Okay, so what I've given you is, please notice that menu strip is how I created this menu strip in case you've forgotten, guys. This is how I created the menu strip. The preview and the print all document and the print selected documents are these documents that I've given to you, and I'll show you what it means. If you wanted to create a context menu, again done before the strike, if you wanted to create a context menu, you will find that under menus and toolbars, you have a context menu strip. If you bring it here, this is a context menu that you can create. And what is a context menu, guys? Anything when you do a right click, what comes up is a context menu. Okay, so I don't have much to do, but I could put maybe an about in it with a, and it doesn't matter, I can be using it. I did an about and I do an exit. So if I ask something and you've forgotten it, I'm trying to do things that were done before the strike. This is how a context menu is created. A context menu comes up here, you type it here, and now when you run it, oh, I forgot something, I think. Yeah, I forgot something. I didn't relate it. I created a context menu, but I didn't relate it to anything. You'll say, now how do I relate it? You can relate it with anything. I'll go to the form and there should be a property called, it should be something like context. There it is, context menu strip. So you've created one, now relate it to your form. You can relate it to any of the controls on your form. I've done it on the form. So you could have 10 context menu strips. When you right click on the particular control that you have linked it with, it will show up. Similarly with tooltips, you've forgotten your tooltips. Let me show you tooltips also. What is a tooltip? Okay, so now let's see the context menu that I created. I have attached it to the form. So when I do right click on the form, it will come up. Of course, it's not working right now. I didn't share the event handlers, right? But that's what will happen. I can share them. How long will it take? Not even a minute. Where is my context menu? Here. Go to the about and go to its events. And in the events on its click, pick up the same that you wrote for TMSI about click here. Same thing will happen. That's how you share events if you've forgotten, right? So I opened my context menu. I went to the about. I went to the events and I chose TSMI about click, TSMI tool strip menu item. Whatever I have written for the about will also work here now. What will I do with exit? I'll go to exit. I'll go to its click and I'll link it to what? Where is my exit? There it is. Now it will work. I don't have to repeat the code. You don't repeat codes. Now run it. Do your context menu, go to about. Same thing will happen that is happening in about, right? What should happen in exit? The program should exit, right? This is your context. Now tooltips. I've hardly seen any tooltips. It's not a big deal. Tooltips. Go to your all Windows form or whatever was common. There is something called tooltip. Again, it comes in your component tray. Now, if you wanted to create a tooltip with your combo box, select your combo box. You will notice that there is a property that has been added, which was not here before. It is called tooltip. Uh-oh. Why don't I see it? Does combo box doesn't have it? As soon as you add it here, it should come as a property. I'm not sure if combo box has it. I don't see it. Does the list box have it? Okay, let me try. An input box definitely has it. So what was it? A button doesn't have it, but an input box, text box has it. So for tooltips, you first get it in the component tray. I'm just going to bring a text box just to kind of see. I don't see it. Why? You add a tooltip here. As soon as you add it here, it should now come in. See, here it is coming in the form. As soon as you add it, a property is added to your controls. And whatever you write here will show up. Why isn't it coming in the combo box? Oh, maybe it was already open and that's why it was not coming. Silly. There it is. As soon as I added a tooltip in my component tray, I added a new property. So add something here. So let's say, what are we choosing a flavor? Choose a flavor. It's not choose actually, but anyway. This is how you add tooltips. So for tooltips, you first add a tooltip in your component tray. As soon as you add one, it will appear as a property in all your controls. And now whatever you give here, now when I run it, and it's kind of a little difficult, but it will show up. See here, it says choose. That's a tooltip. Now again, you don't have to have 10 tooltip components. One will do, and that one will get added to every component. Same way as your context menu. Okay, so if you want to add the same context menu to every control, you create one. If you want to create 10 context menus, that's fine. That's how you do tooltips, which was absent. Okay, now let's very quickly come back to the two that I've left. Okay, so let's go to the print selected flavors. And there are two here. There's a print selected, preview selected. And again, in print flavors, there is a print all and preview all. So I'll do the selected one because it has more work. So under print selected flavors, double click on print selected. So what it is doing is it is saying whatever you've chosen on the form, the flavors that you've chosen, show it to the user. That's all that print selected is. Okay. So there is a print selected. There is, oh God, 42 minutes remaining. I should be good. Yeah. I forgot my power cord today. So print selected is going to show you the flavors and the coffee, the syrup flavors and the coffee flavors that you've selected. Okay. Now, before you do a print selected, what should you check? Did the user select anything or not? Right? Therefore, I'm doing the selected. And this is how you do it. It's not a big deal. You will use your if. You will use your list, which you haven't used till yet. You will use the selected index property, like I was telling you, has one. And if the user has not chosen anything in the syrup list, you're okay to do. You're saying, okay, you didn't choose anything. I'm going to make it as none. Remember that none was at position number 0. So if the user hasn't selected anything from the syrup, I'm good. I'll say if you haven't selected it, that's okay. If the user has selected something from the coffee combo box and its selected index is not equal to -1, that means something has been selected. All I do is I take the, and I've already given you this. I've already created it for you, the print selected one. It was called print selected document, and print it. I won't try this. I'll do the preview, okay? There. So if the syrup was not selected, it is taken to be none. If the coffee was selected, this will go to the printer, else there is nothing to print. So I'll let the user know there is nothing to print. So I'll put a message box with the wrong brackets. Always tell the user what's going on. So you say something like, please select a flavor. So your print got like it is incomplete. And then of course you can put your commas and go to the new line or whatever. So message box is okay. And the message box's buttons icon. I don't know whether you would like information is not bad here because it's not an error. You're just trying to do something that cannot be done. And again, so that the user is brought to the right box, you can focus back to the right box. So this is print selected. Makes sense? So lists, the list box also has a selected index property. Selected item, it's the same. It's like a combo box, just how it is, how it looks is different. And two, of course, there is one more difference. In a combo box, you can select one at a time. In a list, you can select more at a time. That's its nature also, right? You can do multi-selection in a list box. That's one major difference. So there is your print selected. Okay. Now let's go back. I won't do the printing because I don't want to. But what I'll do is preview selected. Preview selected is very similar. If you kind of think of it, the preview selected is very, very similar. The only difference is, so I'm going to make a copy from here. Till where? Till the else. Here. So now instead of doing a print here, what do you do? Do you remember? If not, I don't even remember myself, but I think I have an idea. You take your preview, there it is, preview dialog box 1. To its document property, and what is this print selected document? I've already given to you. It's in your code. It's just giving a heading and so on. It's just tedious. I'll show it to you. So in here, when you preview it, you just set it, and then you take your print preview dialog. Where are you? There you are. And then you go show dialog. Now you don't need the printing at all. From a preview also you can do a printing. Nobody stops you. We'll need this. Therefore, it's always a good idea to put opening and closing brackets in case you have more than one statement. That's previewing. Notice the difference between preview and print. This one just sets the preview on, right? Whereas this one does a direct printing. It will go straight to the printer. So when you do a print, it goes straight to the printer. When you set the document of the print preview, and what's this print preview? Here, this component is called the print preview dialog. That's my component, right? And what is the document? I've already given it to you, but I'll show it to you. This document that I'm talking about, because it was tedious, I kind of gave it to you. Where is it? It was already given to you. It's just print here. Here it is, printing things. That's all it is doing. There is a print font, a heading font. This is the heading that will come. Then my name. It will say coffee and syrup. And then it will, in black color at this particular position, it will print the text property of your coffee and the text property of your syrup. Text properties gives you what you have selected, right? You could have used selected item here also. Instead of saying dot text, you could have said dot items, dot selected item, you could have done. But the text property does the same thing. See what happens now. Let's try. Errors. I have errors somewhere. Okay, so somewhere I'm missing a bracket, it says. Maybe not a good way, but yep, now I'm good. Copy and paste is never a good idea, believe me. Okay, so let's try to preview selected, okay? Now, when I do a preview selected, I haven't selected a coffee flavor. So it says, please select a coffee flavor, right? Now let's select a coffee flavor and a syrup. Now, if I don't select syrup, I'm okay. So when you do print selected, it will go directly to the printer, which I don't want to. So here it is. Now I was saying, we can remove the print altogether because you can always print from a preview. There's always a print button on the preview. So you can remove the print you don't even need it. but I just wanted to show you. So see how it shows me the roast, the espresso roast I chose, and how it shows me none, because I said if nothing is selected, make it none. This is what it is doing. And this printing, which is so tedious and I don't want to waste my time on it, this printing I've already given to you, how you do it. Now you do this with me. Now this should be easy. Go to your file again. To print all flavors, print all. Okay, so what do you want to do in print all? You want to print all the coffee flavors, all the syrup flavors and everything. And again, it is ready for you. I've already done it. Now here we don't have to check anything, but I am not sure whether I gave you the syrups also. I forget because it was so tedious. I'm lazy myself. Let me double check. I think I only showed flavors. We'll check out. It's called print. There it is. Print all document.print. Nothing to check here. Nothing to check here. This is just going to print all the flavors. I can't remember whether it was all coffee or whatever it was. And in the second one, we'll try this one, preview all. Okay, so what does preview all do? The same thing. Takes your preview dialog box, and you only need one. And to its document property, assign it the value which was print all. And then show it as a dialog box. So you don't have to create one preview dialog for everyone. You just need one dialog box. And what was it called? Show dialog. There it is. And again, the difference between show and show dialog will remain the same. There it is. So we'll try this one, preview all. And since I have time, I'll quickly write the count and clear all for you. Okay, let's check preview all. What is preview all doing? Again, I'll do a preview all. Oh, only coffee flavor, guys, but that's okay. I mean, I must have shown you a for each loop there. There it is, coffee flavors. If you wanted to show the syrup flavors, another for loop. That's it, right? And again, you can always print from here, which of course you're not wasting paper. And again, it's all here. How to print is here. I'm sure I don't know if I've used a for or for each, but again, now you know the difference. I've shown you both. Here it is, for each loop. Right? So I've written both of them for you. And again, you will notice that which one is much easier to write. Why have I said count less than count minus 1? It should be less than equal to count minus 1. Yeah, it should be less than equal to, because I'm starting from 0 and I've already done a minus 1 here. Count tells you how many. Okay, so you need another for loop to show the syrup. Now, the only thing remaining, which I thought I would do at the end, is this. How do you clear your coffee list? What do you think? Do you think that a method would be available? It's a list. Surely there should be one available. But before that, you can always do this if you want. You can always ask the user to confirm that does he really want to, like your deletions. Do you want to remove all flavors? Right? So this is clear all. So I'm just being careful. Do you really want to do it? And then you can give a proper heading, clear coffee list, clear coffee flavors. Right? You can show your OK button. Oh, here you can do a yes or a no. Sorry. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea. Let's do a yes or a no. There it is. I can show a different icon of question. There it is. And if you want to make one of it as your default buttons, now button 1 and button 2, you have 2 of them. Yes is button 1 and no is button 2. So you can choose whatever you like. Default doesn't mean that it will happen. It's just highlighted here. So before you clear, ask the user. If the user says yes, if the value of confirm is yes, then of course all you have to do is, there is a method that is available and it is called clear. Oh, I keep forgetting that it needs to say items dot clear. There it is. There. There, that's how you clear it. So I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to write a loop to remove it one at a time. The clear method is available. Right? So that's your clear. So just to show you that you can confirm yes, no button and do it. You can also do this. You can also, I've done form closing with you last time I did arrays and collections. So if you want to do something on that cross, you can still do it. Okay, and just the last one left, count. How do you count? That's an easy one. So do a message box. You can always create a string first if you like. The number of coffee flavors available is, you can always format it if you like, nothing stops you. You can use your toString if you like or whatever, and let's do it. Coffee combo box, take your items array, and from that take your count variable. There it is, job done. I created a message, then it is easy to show it in a message box .show. Right? So the number of coffee flavors available is, and it will show you the value. If you want to show it with certain number of zeros or give a flavor, that's entirely up to you, but count is the function. Now all we do is take your message here. Oops, take your message variable here. What would you like to give it as a heading? Coffee flavors. If the message is long, you can always do this. I mean, you don't have to, but you can always do this. Nothing stops you. It's a variable. Take an OK button and take a message box. What do you think? Information? There. Makes it a little neater because I had to concatenate it. I had to concatenate it with the value. I kind of wrote my message separately. Otherwise, it would be too big for the message box. So you can always put it in a message box. Everything should work now. I think everything should work. Do you want to try? I mean, those are the only two new ones we've written. Okay, so let's do a count. I don't know how many there are. There are 5, it says. Okay, so hoping there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Delete was already working. Now, if you leave it, oh, we haven't checked delete. And if you want to do delete, and if I go here and say remove, it says you haven't either selected or entered any coffee flavor. So how can I delete it? So that's making sense. If I put AA and I say delete, remove, it will say cannot find the flavor. So see, the select all, the focus does the select all. I didn't do it. If I delete it from here, of course it will go. I mean, there is no mistake I'm making here. And it's gone. But keep in mind, it is just a combo box. It just has an items collection. If you close the program and open it again, vanilla nut will again be there. It's not gone forever. Keep in mind that we are working in the main memory. Main memory is volatile in nature. You run something, it runs, you make changes. While you don't close the application, it will be fine. If you close the application and run it again, it's again going to pick up things from its items collection. So our next step next week will be that instead of just using a combo box, we will read from a file and we'll save to a file. So that you run, every time you run the application, all changes are permanent. That's what files are for, right? That's the next step. Arrays and array lists and lists are volatile data structures. They're volatile data structures. Okay? So, of course, it will go. But if you want to remove, now let's do the clear all. It is going to ask you a question. Do you want to remove all flavors? And notice how yes is highlighted. If I say no, nothing happens. If I say yes, all gone. Right? But it confirmed from me. So like it says, are you sure you want to delete? Is this the file you want to? I'm kind of doing the same thing. Right? So we've done about. Now the only thing that is left is a splash screen, but the splash screen has to be, the only way you can do a splash screen is with a timer, right? That's the only way that I found out that you could do it with C#. And something that I wasn't able to show a good example, which I would have loved to, is something that I could have done in this selected index change property. But I mean, there's nothing in this example. So keep in mind, I'm not sure if you kind of think as if it can only be done in the properties windows. If you wanted to change something of your combo box here, for example, coffee combo box dot drop down style. Here, you can change it right here. Okay, now what is that constant called? What is that property called? So I think it was called drop down. The property was called drop down. Now with this, you have to be a little careful. What was it called? Drop down. No, the drop down style. The property was called drop down style. The value was drop down list. Okay. So you just have to be careful. Okay. So let's go to the code again. Drop down style is equal to, there it will help me. See again, combo box styles are the styles that you can choose. Now, the problem in, I've been doing it for years now, but I can never remember because ID helps you, right? So I know there are constants, they're called drop down list, drop down and drop, simple, but I don't remember them. You could use numbers, notice how they're constants, they're just constants. See, there's another use of named constants. Would you like to go 1, 2, 3, or would you like to go drop down list, or simple? Of course, names are important. So this, again, this combo box style, so if you want to change it to a list, you can just choose it here. And I'll show you what happens, which is very odd, but anyway. And this is an enumerated type. Notice how it says enum in front of it. Enum means enumerated. And what is enumerated? Enumerated is a type that it can do more, but in its easiest declaration, it declares some constants and assigns values to them. So it has 3 constants. This class has 3 constants. We saw 1, 2, and 3 for drop-down list, simple, or whatever. So this is an enumerated type. So whenever you see enum in front of it, it stands for enumerated. And again, it's all over C# because you use it all the time. All that you've been using on the right-hand side when you change properties, you're using one of the constants. It would be so difficult. It really would be. Think about it. If I go here in, suppose, drop-down style itself, and instead of this drop-down, I see numbers here, 1, 2, 3. Can you ever guess what 1, 2, 3 is? Not. No, it's so difficult. But if you see names here, you can say, oh, they have some, and these are enumerated data types. And to use them, here you don't bother a lot, but to use them here, you have to know to which enum they belong. And again, I don't have to worry a lot because as soon as I say equal to, it kind of gives me. See what will happen now. If I change its style and I run it, as soon as I choose something from it, see, it changes its style now. So all the properties that you work with at design time, you can manipulate them at execution time. Design time is fixed. It's like it's done. You compile it, it's fixed. But now I can change it during runtime also. So there is no hard and fast rule that these properties cannot be changed during the runtime. Why do they appear here? Because they help you when you create the interface. But anytime you want to do anything with them, you can always change them in your run environment. Of course, this won't work for me, but I'm just showing you. Okay, so enumerated constants is something that you should be aware of, like we use it all the time. This message boxes dot yes, no, all these are just enumerated constants. You don't have to memorize anything. They come, you choose the one you want, but they're constants. Behind the scene, they're all constant values. Okay, so just to show you, but again, don't, like, I'm telling you, it's not, you just have to play. Programming is like mathematics. You did math with me. Until you practice it, you won't get it. You can't learn by just listening or reading. It can be done. That's why quizzes and multiple choice tests are not the right way of testing a programmer. Right? Because like you're programmers, you're hands-on. You should be able to do it and fix it. Right? Unfortunately, I can't do much about it, so we'll go that route. But it's just, I mean, you have to be smart. You know what? When you go out of the semester and you're doing advanced courses, you're doing advanced Java, get into the knack of it. I feel so sad when I see something that, oh, I've done it and you still don't know it. I feel bad, not for myself, to that I'm not able to give it to you, that I'm not able to convey it to you. But you have to put in effort to get it, right? Okay, so that takes care of arrays and collections. This is not the end of it, but this is all I can do with you, right? I've done selected index. You should know what selected item is. I do selected item. You should know what text is. I do focus. You should know what select all is. Play with it. And that's what the assignments are for, doing stuff. But again, everybody is time restricted and you just do what you have to do for marks. which I don't blame you, but that's okay. I'll put this on GitHub. I think it's the final code, but if I make changes, I'll again kind of commit it. There. So now come prepared with the lesson we did today, the lesson we did before the midterm, and the PowerPoint slides for your quiz next week. Half hour quiz, 25 to 30 questions, kind of 1 minute per question, all multiple choice, no fill in the blanks, no true false. So basically just choose the right answer. How bad can that be? You know what I mean? Like if you've kind of done it, you should be okay. For loop, for each loop, call by value, call by reference. Those are that are done today, right? Methods, method signatures, return type, and so on. You should know all these things. And I'm making it. I'm trying to see, whatever I've taught, of course, I can't expect a lot from you because it's not something that you'll be, and you can bring a cheat sheet. I've said bring a cheat sheet if you like. I've allowed a cheat sheet. So if you want to put some notes, this is allowed, one cheat sheet, both sides revision. No other resources will be allowed. It will be online on Blackboard. Okay. So be ready for it. And we'll kind of keep up this every time I finish a class. The next week, I'll give you an exam. Any questions for me on what we did today?